Hey!
Hey,
Strange that it wasn't working. I don't know what was up, but
I don't
but
know.
well, let me shut the blinds so I don't get this glare on my
Yeah.
face. 1 second. Hold on. That's a little better. Good to see you, buddy. Yeah, it was strange. I kept like sending messages and like, hey, I'm here, but it wouldn't show up. It
I
was
don't
really
know. I
weird.
don't know what happened. Instagram.
Technology.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on your broadcast. It's really nice to
Yeah.
hang out
Thanks for being
with you.
here.
Yeah, I
I,
mean, I'd rather be hanging out with you in person, but this is the next best thing, and I'm really excited to be here and in Israel at the same time.
yeah. You,
Hello.
you got people from Italy. You got people from South America.
Yeah, I've been
Paul is
watching.
here. My buddy Paul.
It's really exciting. It's cool to see all the different. That's one of my favorite things about doing the live broadcast is it's just so many different walks of life from all around the world, all
Yeah.
hanging together.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if only if like, Americans could embrace that in real life, I think that the world would be a better place.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Maybe they will once this thing is over. I think many people will appreciate what life is giving them back.
I think some of them, the good
Some
ones,
the
the
good ones.
ones,
Yeah.
yeah, the ones that actually take this and learn from it, not the stupid people out there protesting a virus. But,
Yeah. Exactly.
come on.
Dude, I went to the beach in Israel today, and it's almost like back to normal. You have some people, like of course, I was with the mask, but you got
Yeah,
some people,
me too.
yeah, but you got some people like just having their regular day. No one's approaching them, and it's looking like they're kind of like they're over it, but it's not how it's supposed to be yet.
Yeah. You have the same here. I'm in a small town in the southwest desert, staying right now because for those who don't know, my wife's a healthcare worker and I can't go back to California and live at home because there's just too much risk involved. So it's unfortunate. And it's like, I know you heard your situation where you can't be with your girlfriend who's in
Yeah.
Israel. And, that sucks. It's the same for me. I packed for tour and I haven't been able to see my wife since March. So, you know, so when I see people out there that aren't wearing a mask and aren't doing their part, they could have no symptoms and they could affect other people. And then eventually that's going to affect my wife and all the people she works with, in her profession. And it's going to mean that me and you are going to be locked up for longer and
Yeah.
everybody else. And that's unfortunate. I think people need to stop and think this is bigger than themselves and learn to care about everyone else in the world and not just themselves. That's a big problem, I think, here in the States, is too many people just think like it doesn't affect them until it really affects them, until it's like their own children
Yeah.
or their own family. Like this week, I had just 2 days ago, someone in my family died of COVID. They were a bit older, and it was unfortunate. And I wasn't super close to that side of my family, but it was one of my aunts, and she passed away. Her husband, who was my great grandmother, it was her son. So his wife, he had to put her in a nursing home because she was just getting for different things that she had. She had like dementia and things, and being in a nursing home at this time is unfortunately, in a lot of cases, a death sentence. One nursing home in the small town in Indiana where I was from, almost 90% of the people in that nursing home got COVID, and
Yeah.
over 30 of them died. And that's
Wow.
crazy. So, yeah, that's unfortunate. And then our old tour manager, one of his mother passed away from COVID. And it's just like, these are reasons why I take this seriously and because I care about everybody. So,
Yeah, for sure. I mean, once I got back to Israel and I realized that I'm going to be staying with my mom, she's 60 plus. So I didn't see anyone for the longest time. I was just here the whole time. And I barely left the house. I didn't, I told my Muay Thai trainer, dude, I'm not going to see you for like a month. I got to take this seriously.
yeah.
And I still am. I'm still not really seeing people much. I'm just, doing
Yeah,
what I can.
I haven't seen anybody face to face since I was at my mother's house in Indiana, and that was it. And even when I was there, the only person that came over was her sister, and even that kind of scared me because her sister took it seriously, but she had a son and his wife that went away for Florida for spring break during a pandemic. It's like, are you
Yeah.
insane? So I was like, look, they're going to come home. You're going to see them. Obviously, it's your son. I just can't. I can't deal with this. She's going to get my mom sick, and then I'm going to get sick too. And I told my mom, I'm like, look, it's your sister. I know you love her, but I would distance myself and just talk through the window or the door, you know, like it's an unfortunate fact of life now. You just have to approach things differently, and it sucks, but it's better than dying or better than getting sick or getting other people sick.
Yeah, for sure. And the whole thing with your wife and Paula, my girlfriend, I always give her your example. I say, hey, it's not just us; it's also Kris Roe and Corey, and they're not seeing each other as well. And we'll pass it. We gotta just stay positive, dude. And you know what? It's very hard to stay positive now for me. And I'm in my nature, I'm a positive person, but I feel I have so many like like letdowns in the middle of the day that just come out of nowhere, and I just try to focus on other things and get my mind off of like bad thoughts. Yeah.
Same, man. Like I was sick for 4 weeks, and I got tested, but I finally, after the second time I ended up in the hospital, I tested negative, but I still feel it was a false negative. Like I really feel like I had every symptom except for 2, and wow. It was the worst sickness I've ever had, besides or close to the time I had pneumonia last year. And yeah, it was really frightening, and that really got me down and depressed. I'm always a very positive person like you, and you know, I'm always optimistic, but you know, when you're alone away from your wife for 2 months and you're everything you have with you, just like what you packed for tour for 3 weeks, it's kind of difficult to not get into a depression. Yeah, but I've managed. These live streams have helped me a lot. It's helped me.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Yeah,
and the guys watching know it.
That's good. I'm glad. Yeah. I'm glad we have this, because it means a lot. Because for a while, you know, I started watching Jeff Tweedy from Wilco. He has a live broadcast every night. I started watching that, and he would just hang out with his family and play songs. And I'm like,
every night.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah, every night, except like I think they do one night off every week. But still, it made me really happy to watch it. And I'm like, maybe if I did this, it would help me and maybe help a few other people. And I did, and it's been great. So
yeah. I've been watching it. You're doing great, buddy.
And likewise, I've seen.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I don't know where the fine line is between like overdoing it and not doing it. I just like, I kind of feel it out by the day. Some days I'm like, all right, I just need to chill today because I've been going hard, you know, doing a Spam Fest here, doing this, then doing a Facebook. As much as I enjoy it, I mean, I could play a show every day, but
yeah, I think you just got to go with your heart. You know, I'm trying to do like at least 1 day off a week, and I split mine up between, I'll do 3 p.m. California time, Pacific time, and I'll do 7 p.m. California time, Pacific time, because that way the people in Europe and UK can watch the earlier one, and the people down under in Australia and New Zealand and Southeast Asia can watch the later one. And I usually do the late one on the weekends and the early one a few days during the week. I tend to feel that the later one for me, that the audience is a little bit more like mellow and kind, and I like. Don't get me wrong, but I think what it is the early broadcast. You get a lot of the people that are wasted right before bed in the UK, and they're just like typing like some belligerent comments or like asking for a few of the songs I just don't fucking care for, you know. And I kind of explain, like, as you know, there are probably some old Useless ID songs that are like more fun punk rock lyrics that don't work on an acoustic guitar.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, you know, it doesn't make sense for me to play like, you know, some silly song on an acoustic. So I like to play the more storyteller, singer-songwriter songs, which is a lot of them. I'll play like 90% of the songs, but the early broadcasts, they get a little silly. But I love everybody though, you know, it's cool.
Yeah.
It's funny. What's with the Lost Prophets guy? Yeah, he was on our. It's like somebody keeps saying that on. It's like, I don't like that band. The singer was like, he was like a pedophile. It's like, come on.
Yeah, oh, that singer did so many terrible things, or he planned on doing terrible things. I read like one thing about it and made me sick to my stomach.
Like, the guy in the comments like, do you like Lost Prophets? Like 20 times. It's like, no, don't ask. Like, yeah. That's another question. He's in your podcast.
You know, in my live session, I think on Facebook, there's one guy that keeps requesting this Useless ID song, and he keeps writing the lyrics of the song, like, I don't know, like 5 times in a row. And I mean, I'll gladly play it, but once again, it's one of these songs that would just sound like shit on an acoustic guitar because it's no.
People don't realize that sometimes. Like, I like the song Takeoffs and Landings a lot, but that needs a full band. It's like a rock song, and the lyrics are fine, but it's just one of those songs. I remember I played it acoustic once because John asked me to. He goes, will you play this? Because this girl he was with really wanted to hear it. And then afterwards he comes up to me and goes, don't ever play that acoustic again. It was hilarious. Yeah. I had that All poster behind you on my wall when I was a teenager. That All It's great.
That was actually the last time we were at the blasting room. There was one day that we went over to Bill's house. I think we helped him move. So like he had a pile of merchandise just scattered all over the house, and we were pretty much getting close to done with the record. So we're like, hey, Bill, we'll just help you fold it and like set it up. So he's like, really? And I'm like, yeah, why not? So we came over and like, we're folding for like a few hours, and Bill's working on his computer. And he's like, you know Bill, of course. So Bill's like, whatever you guys want, you can take. So yeah, exactly.
So good.
Yeah. So Bill being Bill, he said, yeah, exactly that. So first of all, we took like a bunch of like Christmas sweaters and like shirts and stuff like that.
Great.
And then we saw like a big pile of like All posters and like All records. And he's like, take whatever you want. So that was a good day. So that's cool. Yeah.
During the last stockage they did there, Bob sent me a bunch of great pictures. I mean, I've seen the Milo Goes to College reels that they recorded on when I was recording the Blast Room. I don't know if you saw those in the vault, but Bob went through the vault and with Milo and those guys, and they opened up a lot of the reels, and there was the set list in the reel for Hallraker and Liveage, the actual set list.
Wow.
And he sent me all these photos I'll have to show you that are really cool. And there's all the track listings on each reel, and it lists the tracks of so many B-sides and leftover songs that I've never heard. And I'm like, oh man, I wish to release all these, but I have some of them that were never released. I'll play them for you, but I could never play them for everyone because I think that they'd get pissed. But I have a handful of those like unreleased songs that I've managed to gather that aren't online. But there's some cool ones.
Yeah.
Hopefully one day they'll come out.
Yeah. I actually have a set list over here. I think it's from the maybe I could get it.
All right.
There it is. Yeah. So that's the set list next to my gold record.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
What's below the gold record? That really cool old aged kind of set list type thing below the gold record.
What's that?
What's right below the gold record? What's that in the frame below it? Yeah, what's that?
Oh, that's a record of this band. That's
cool.
Yeah, that's like the Israeli Beatles in a way. They were big in the 70s, and they reunited in 2013, and I got the gig as being the acoustic guitar player. So,
I think I remember you talking about that because I was like, but that looks really aged and old.
Yeah, I bought the record, and I had all of them sign it along with these like tickets, and I made like this thing. So once I showed up with this, in a rehearsal, and everyone's like, hey, who gave you that? I also want that. I'm like, fuck you, I made it myself. Go make one yourself. Yeah. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. Your room looks like my room when I was young. Like I the same thing. Like it was covered from floor to ceiling and posters and things. My mom was very tolerant and supportive, and that's why today I had to call my mother and wish her a happy Mother's Day right before I did this. And you called me. I was like, oh yeah, I was on the phone with my mom.
Yeah, that's okay. But this is actually not my room. This is growing up. This was my brother's room. I think like since we got to Israel, and I turned it into like a music room. So like where this stand is a table where I work on music, and there's like the record player, and there's now the keyboard because I'm practicing a lot on piano these days, and so. Yeah. What's
your neighborhood like in Haifa? I've always really been curious about the area where you live. I mean, I know about Haifa, but the neighborhood itself, like, do you live in like suburbs or is like city, or what is it? What's the vibe like?
It's kind of like a suburb, but it's up on like a mountain. Like
yes.
If you drive like 5 minutes, like get in your car, drive 5 minutes down, you'll hit the beach. That's how it is.
That's great.
I'll make you a video. I'll make you a video.
I would love to see that, man. I'm like a geography nerd, so I love anything. I got one of those virtual reality headsets.
I saw that.
An Oculus, And they had this app where you can, it's called Wander, where you could type in locations of anywhere in the world, and they'll have these cool 3D maps where you can walk around a city. And some of them are more updated and new than others, and they look more real. Because, you know, every day you have these like Google planes flying overhead and like spying and taking maps of every city. But those maps also make this app cooler. So it's pros and cons, you know, but you can walk around. So when I get it, my wife just shipped it to me. So when I get it, I'll type in your address and I'll walk around your neighborhood and check it out.
Yeah,
let me cool though.
Let me know what you think.
All right. Yeah, it's a cool, fun thing. But I'd love to come there. I've always wanted to come and play in Israel. It would be, hopefully one day once it's safe again, we could work something out where
I would love that, and I would love to hit the road with you again, buddy.
Yeah, I'd like that
always
too.
So much fun.
We'll do that for sure. I mean, if I'm playing solo shows or if we're doing band shows, I'll for sure put you on some shows. That would be great.
Hell yeah.
Sorry, capstick.
So I promise the people on my page that we talk about like how we met the first time and how with Useless ID, how all that thing. So I have my recollection of memories. I know I would like to hear yours.
Okay. Well, I've got the worst memory when it comes to like old dates and times and like I remember like fragmented things, but I do remember we played the Club Cocodrie in San Francisco, and
True.
I remember you guys rolled up and you were playing the early show before us, I believe, maybe, or you were there early and you were playing that show with us, and we met there.
Yeah, I'll tell you what happened. We had 2 shows that day. We played at the Old Ironsides with Teen Idols, and we just, I don't know how, like, I didn't look at the map. You probably know how far that is. What is it, like an hour drive?
What city was it at?
I don't know. Old Ironsides. I'm guessing
I never played Old Ironsides, so I don't know where that was, but it's like an hour outside San Francisco, you mean?
Maybe more even. I remember that we played the show and then we were blazing to make it to the Cocodrie.
Oh, cool. So yeah, that makes sense then. Yeah, it must have been one of the suburbs, like maybe it's like Petaluma or like there's so many like, or like San Jose or something. There's like other,
or maybe it's even in San Francisco. I don't remember. You know, one of the guys, like, I'll just look it up. But I remember, so I remember we were blazing.
Oh, he says it's in Sacramento, so that's roughly like 2 hours, hour and a half. You know, with traffic 2 hours, but yeah, hour and a half from the city.
Okay, so yeah, that makes sense. So we pull up to the Cocodrie, and I'm telling my guys, like, inside the van, I'm like, I really hope we didn't miss the Ataris because we were big fans. We loved anywhere but here.
You were one of the 5 people that bought that album. Before
dude, we loved that album. We listened the fuck out of that album. And of course, the more you put out, like the next records and the EP on Fat, but we'll get to that. So I was telling the guys, I really hope we get to see the Ataris. So I get out of the van. And this blonde kid with like spikes comes out, holding an amp, and I'm like, "Hey, dude, do you know if the Ataris played yet?" And that kid goes, "We are the Ataris. I'm the Ataris. Nice to meet you, Chris. We did."
Oh, and we'd already played.
Yeah, you just finished your set and you were loading out.
Because it was a day show. I remember that. But I thought for some reason we played at day and night, or you guys got there and we played at night. Because I remember meeting Ishai too, and I remember I just remember us talking to you, and yeah, it was cool, yeah. And then after that, and I remember he gave me your
Hey, Stacy.
Yeah, what's that?
Stacy Stevenson.
Oh, hey, Stacy. Sorry, I didn't hear you. What's up? How you doing? But yeah, I remember he gave you that your first. I don't think it was your first record. I think it was some of your new songs, and I remember it was in that cardboard sleeve, the CD. I don't know if it was
Get in the Peter.
But I thought it was the one after that. I thought it was some of those songs too, because I remember.
I think we gave you a copy of That's Not Punk, because that was.
Yeah.
I think that was my first tour with the guys, and we just pressed the CDs in this I don't know, this like home record pressing place, dude. Oh. Yeah, it was so DIY.
Very cool.
Yeah, I can only hope that guy's still alive because he looked pretty damn old back then.
Yeah.
And, yeah, so I think we gave you that, and you gave us your record, your CD. Like
some of the new stuff we did after Anywhere But Here.
Probably, yeah. We swapped something,
cool.
But yeah.
It must have been because we recorded Blue Skies before Look Forward to Failure, but at that time, Kung Fu had kind of given up on the band a little bit because Anywhere But Here didn't do anything, and they were pushing it as like Derek from Lagwagon's new band because that was their only selling point. And so what happened is I called up Fat Mike because I'd met him through Derek, and you know, I said, hey, would you want to put out an EP because Kung Fu are going to wait to put out Blue Skies till next year. This was in the fall of, must have been, I don't know, whatever, 97 or 98. I don't know when Blue Skies came out. I don't remember date, 99, something. But anyway, it was in the fall. Blue Skies was going to come out the next year. We didn't have anything new out to represent how we sounded live because we changed and evolved a lot. And so he's like, yeah. And so we ended up putting out that EP, Look Forward to Failure, in the fall. He put San Dimas on a comp. So when Blue Skies came out the following year, that really helped and set up the launch of Blue Skies. So it definitely made it way easier because Kung Fu didn't have any distribution. Nobody could find our records, and it was really difficult and really frustrating for us. So when Blue Skies came out, suddenly everything changed. Look Forward to Failure and San Dimas being on the Fat Records comp really set up everything to kind of take off for us and really got people to find our music and come to the shows. Yeah, finally.
Yeah.
Because there was no way to get your music out there, as you know, it was all word of mouth. That's one thing I respected about Useless ID and you from the get-go is there were so many good bands out there that were just lazy and they had great songs, but you were all the way from the other side of the world and you were every year still coming to America and playing shows, and you were really a really driven band, and you had a lot of heart and a lot of passion, and
yeah,
that goes a long way still,
I mean, even in Israel, it like when my hey Chris, when my family just moved here, I just started I knew like a few chords on guitar, but I knew that like once I got here, I'm like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. I gotta find people to be in a band with, and I formed a few bands along the way, like till I made my spot till I got my spot in Useless ID, and they were the serious guys. They were like, yeah, well, once a guy is done with the army, we're going to the U.S. and then we're going to the U.S. again, and then we're gonna live in the U.S. So I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go with these guys because it didn't matter who plays guitar or who played bass. You wanted to find like 3 other people that are with you in this.
Yes.
We're a punk rock band, and we're not gonna just like rot here, We're gonna go out.
I mean, that's the thing, being in a band, it's like a relationship, and sometimes, with me and some of the guys I played with in the live band early on, some of them had their issues, but they had, at least with like our old bass player Mike, he had drive at the time, and he was really driven. He wasn't a good bass player, but he made up for it in wanting to really try to help get the band off the ground. I mean, and that at that time that went a long way. And later on, once the band gets to a level where like everything kind of settled down, and I could really see like, okay, there are certain things that aren't going to work within that relationship, and I got to go do something with people that are on the level with these other things. And that's kind of what happens, with any good relationship. And unfortunately, I just wasn't ever going to let anybody hold me back from creating and doing what I love and limit me either creatively or limit me with some of those guys would have like issues with like substance and things. And I just, after a while, I didn't want to deal with that, so you got to do what's not going to hold your music back, and that's the best thing you can do. But, yeah.
Yeah, with us, we've been a band now for 25 years.
Same. It's cool.
So it's like any other relationship. At some point, we'll go off and do Japan, and then it's like everyone's like back in his spot in the band, and we go out and we buy records together and we shoot the shit. But I think once tour is over, since we've spent so much time with each other in this life, I think I spend more time with those guys than with my middle brother.
Crazy.
It's like a family in a way.
Totally.
So everyone kind of like crawls off into his own nest for a while.
Goes separate ways, yeah. And
I think it's fine. I think it's fine. You can, unless like I don't know. I think one of the guys in maybe Angelo from Bracket told me that those guys are like the best friends, and when tour's over, they hang out, and they're always hanging out. And I'm like, you're lucky. Like,
yeah. I don't know any bands like that. I mean, about like what he said. I mean, what you said, I think that's the most normal situation because same with me. I love the people I play music with now more
Yeah.
so than anybody I played music with because I feel like it feels like a family. But at the end of the day, we all live in separate parts of the country. Like, you know, Dustin lives in Colorado, Danny lives in Montreal, like I live in California, and we all come together and hang out like a family when we're touring, and then we talk in text every once in a while when we're out tour. But I think that's good. That distance really does, you know, make our bond stronger on tour because we all have like girlfriends or wives. Like
Exactly. You want to kind of go off and
be normal.
do the other
Yeah.
part of your life.
It's true. You need the balance of both. It took me a long time to realize that. I think, you know, somewhere after So Long Astoria, I started, you know, I went through a really dark part when I was writing Welcome to Night, and I'm really proud of that album, but it like took me going through that divorce and really trying to find contentment and peace within myself and happiness within myself before I could be a good partner to somebody and before I could find happiness in the world and really grow up. And after I did, it really taught me a lot. Like, hey, you can't go on tour for 3 months and come home for like 2 weeks and then go back on tour for 3 months and make a relationship work. It's not going to work. You got to balance. And now a month on, a month off, or 2 months off, you know?
I mean, my girlfriend, Paula, she deserves a trophy for dealing with the shit I put her through. Really.
My wife.
I think she's watching. She should be watching. She told me she was watching before. Hi, Paula. So yeah, I mean, from the get-go, I met her at a show, and you know, I was full-on solo tour musician, and like if there's a Useless ID tour, like for the summer, yes, everything was yes, and I tried to I tried to make that relationship work while being on the road, like 90% of the year, while she doesn't even live in the same place as me. She lives in Italy, and and if she stayed with me this whole time, of course we've had ups and downs, and we spent certain like fractions in our relationship like completely apart, like where it was like 3 months and 3 months, and everything almost fell off completely. There was always that little spark that kept us together, and I realized with myself that I don't want to be on the road all the time anymore. I don't want it. I want to do it and enjoy it. But I want to spend time with this person because she's the real thing.
Yeah.
How's that?
I think exactly. I think when you find the person that you know is the right person for you and it's real, that you'll do anything and you'll sacrifice anything to make that work. You know, like for me right now, I know being apart is the smart thing for us. But if something happened where I had to risk my life and go home and be with my wife tomorrow, even though I know I could die doing it, I would do that. But, you know, that's part of love and that's part of life. But I mean, I guess I would be at peace knowing at least I would spend my final moments with her. But at the same time, you know, I feel right now we're both doing this distance because she has to help people in her job as hard as it is with her 12-hour days and everything. But at the same time, we're doing this because for me, the thing that gets me through each day is knowing that through all this shit, I can go home and have a life with her again. But if tomorrow I went out without a mask or did something like that and got sick and I got really ill and I have asthma and then I died, then I would never get to see her again. So to me, every day that stuff, at the end of the day, she's the reason I make it through. So playing music and touring again would be a second.
Exactly. Yeah, I feel it's kind of like for me at least, kind of like reevaluating my priorities, because for the longest time in the world it was always go in music, and I think I overdid my stay on that, because you can only do it for so long, right? Like
it burns you out.
That's something like that's good in your 20s, not like, and then in your mid 30s when you're deciding, okay, I'm going to be a solo artist and I'm going to be on the road 300 days a year.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody, that's part of growing up though. Everybody has to go through life and kind of get to a point where they realize, okay, you know, you live in your teens and 20s just like with reckless abandon, doing whatever. And then I think you start to like get to a point where you can still be the same human you are, but do it in a way that is more caring towards others and more considerate, and
Yeah,
You want to
I
play
think.
some songs, or you want to? I mean, or we can keep talking, whatever you want to do. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, whatever you want.
Play. So I don't know. I think
Should
somebody
I
asked.
play a song?
Yeah.
All right.
If you, yeah. It's your live stream. You do whatever you want. I
Yeah,
like hearing songs,
I don't
but I can
don't
play
know.
songs after.
I don't know whose live stream it is because I have like how many people you have on your screen written there?
Right now it's 41, but I think if we play songs, maybe it'll grow even more.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
I don't
So
know.
so it's we're inside my stream now, right? That's what's happening because I've noticed some names I don't know. So maybe they saw that you went live or something.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't think it shows up on mine. I think it's only on yours. That's how it works. Like when we're gonna do a live stream on the Atari's one on Tuesday at 11 a.m. Pacific time, and that'll be broadcast on the Atari's one. But this is only
Oh,
broadcast.
okay.
I wish we could broadcast it on both, but I don't think Instagram allows that, does it? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll figure this out.
Two old guys figuring out technology.
So my regular axe is you know, the binding is coming off and I'm having this thing put in. It's just falling apart, really, literally. But this guitar is not that bad, you know. It's like filled with stickers and shit.
Got
Remember the Cruise Records?
Yeah.
So I'll play this one. I'll play you know the song Platonic from California
Yeah.
Sound?
Of course. I love that record.
Thank you. Touching that is filming between us. I don't know, is it all in my head? You cry to me that nobody loves you and expect me to understand. I keep myself chained up when I'm near you so you could be safe inside. I'm sick of trying so hard to please you cause I'm really into your type. Now you threw me off like you never had a clue. I could try to lie, but I feel the way I do. You saved me from myself since the day you let me in. I don't even know where to begin. Maybe it's just me, I'm attracted cause you keep on casting a spell. You listen to the first Arctic Monkeys and you can't crawl out of your shell. I try to keep it pure and platonic, but it gets to me every time. The chemistry that happened between us and me skyrocketing into the night. Now you threw me off like you never had a clue. I could try to lie, but I feel the way I do. You saved me from myself since the day you let me in. I don't even know where to begin. I can't let go cause I waited long enough. I can't let go. I can't let go cause I waited long enough. Now you threw me off like you never had a clue. I can try to lie, but I feel the way I do. You saved me from myself since the day you let me in. I don't even know where to begin. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, it's great. So I got to grab a water. I have an abscessed tooth that's healing, and I had to take antibiotics, so I got to chase it with water. So just 1 second, I'm going to grab a bottle of water.
All right.
I wanted to wait till you finished your song. Hold on.
Thank you. So, everybody, that's Kris Roe. He'll be back after you drink some water. This is fun.
I'm back.
Oh, he's back. There you
Yeah,
go.
it was quick. Yeah, I literally, yeah. You're supposed to drink like a half a bottle of water when you take it, or it can like upset your esophagus. It's like a strong antibiotic because I had this tooth thing. Still healing, but I think I finally have to go to a dentist this week, which is terrifying. But luckily, the town I'm staying in doesn't have a lot of cases of the virus, so I'm just hoping I can get it taken care of and not get sick.
Yeah. It'll be fine. Let's be optimistic.
All right.
So are you gonna play a song or?
Yeah, yeah. If you want, I will. I
Yeah.
got my guitar here. We could trade back and forth for a few if you want.
And you know what? When you're done with your song, I gotta take a quick whiz. So.
No, go ahead. If you want to do that right now, I'll just tune up. You can do that if you
Oh
want.
yeah. All right. So
Yeah,
tune
go for
up.
it.
I'll
And
be back in like.
I'll talk to all your fans, and I'll tell them funny stories about you while you're going.
Perfect.
I will. Hello, everyone. Yo, Tom went to use the bathroom, so be back. Yeah. Oh, you are? I hope you're well. Yeah. Taking out antibiotics is no fun, especially having to do it. I've had to do it for a few weeks because when I stopped taking them, the tooth problems started getting worse again. So, yeah, I just think it's something I have to get taken care of because it's never going to heal, even with antibiotics. Just kind of putting a Band-Aid on putting a bandage on the problem, you know. But yeah, it's difficult during a pandemic to do normal things like actually go get dental work done. Let's see.
I heard you laughing.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh no, I wasn't talking about you. Well, what do you have anything you want to play, or anybody out there have anything they want to play? Hello, Indonesia. Nice to see you. Ja, 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 ja. No. Well, when a lot of people in Indonesia when they laugh, it's like the same way with like Mexico. They'll write it with a J because it's an H sound, like ha 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 ha. So it was always a kind of yeah. When people would write laughter, Indonesian people would write laughter on the Facebook. It would be ja 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 ja.
Yeah. I saw that a few times. That's true.
Yeah, it's just goofy, you know. It's funny. Let me see. Let me play. I'll play an old song, and then after that, I'll play a new song I wrote for my wife. After you play another song. So first, let me do an older one. Let's see.
Please do.
Okay, no, I lied. I'm gonna play a new song first because you played a good song, and I don't want to play a song that I'm not as fond of. All right, let's see. Play a song I wrote to my wife. I was in some weird open tuning, so I had to tune back up. All right, cool. This is a song I titled it after a Bukowski poem called "Some Notes on Bach and Haydn," and he wrote this poem about sitting up like at 4 in the morning, right before the sunlight's coming up out in the city of Los Angeles, and he's sitting up writing on an old typewriter, listening to Bach and Haydn and old classical on his little AM radio, and wow. It's a really good poem, and I stole the title of the poem as the title of the song because it's kind of about that same kind of imagery of hearing the helicopters over the head in our neighborhood and all these kind of things I'm describing, and moments that remind me of my wife. So yes,
that's amazing.
Yeah, gotta find the lyrics to glance at if I forget because it's a really wordy song. I haven't played a lot, so let's see. Oh, there it is. Okay, cool. Right on. Here we go. And and for those who don't know, I didn't pack an acoustic guitar for tour because I was only packing 3 weeks. So I have this little mini twin amp, Fender mini twin that I use in my electric because that's all I got, but it works. Does that sound all right?
Yeah.
Cool. It'll work. Oh, sorry. Have to still tune it up. That B string is not in tune. Got to restring this guitar this week, which is on its. All right, here we go. Chasing signs and chasing lines, but you're the only girl that's on my mind. What's golden is every sunset I save in my mind. Skies they burn with perfect fire, let our shadows dance in the smoke of this violent midnight, and the rattle of this broken axle. Two hearts come alive to the sound of old helicopters and perfect sirens. And who the hell ever said you don't get a second chance at life? All of this pain in my heart's been replaced by a delicate voice and a smile on your face. Let us say one last farewell to all our hardest goodbyes. Wolves, they chase the motors home. These arms outstretched, sweet black like opium. As we drift through scenic pastures, the city dreams at 4 a.m. The moonlight peeks in, fills up the well of your heart. These fragile cracks in my skin. Starlight spills out onto my lips, resuscitates a heart that has long ceased to exist. I wanted you to be mine ever since we first met. All of this pain in my heart's been replaced by a delicate voice and the sweetest of face. Let us say one last farewell to our hardest goodbyes. Let us say one last farewell to all our hardest goodbyes.
Yeah.
There'll be a bridge at the end. I have a bridge, but I haven't finished it yet. It's still a work in progress, but yeah.
Sounds great.
Thanks.
So at some point, I think it was in maybe Welcome the Night, I think you became very wordy with your lyrics, right?
Thanks. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think started in So Long Astoria, but definitely into Welcome the Night. If I look at like In This Forever, a song like Fast Time to Drop Out High, I started learning how to be a better writer, but So Long Astoria was like, I learned a lot from Lou Giordano, who recorded that album and did a lot of our favorite records like Sugar, Copper Blue, and Sam I Am, Clumsy, and Sunny Day Real Estate. And he really taught me how to learn how to craft a song a little better and be a better editor. And like, because, you know, sometimes when you sit down the guitar and you write a song and you just write what you're thinking while you're like stream of consciousness, the lyrics are just almost like place markers and like, you know, they're not real lyrics. It's like you're just creating words. And when I was younger, I would just keep it sometimes. But usually I sit down and write music and melodies, and I write lyrics separate about like what I see when I'm driving around. And I think my lyrics became better and more vivid and more like stories, you know?
Yeah. That's exactly what I'm aiming for with my lyrics. That's why
your lyrics are great.
Thank you.
And they've gotten better and better all through the years too. So it's good because you're continuously getting better as a songwriter, so you're doing something right.
Thank you. That means a lot coming from you. I think it just became a very what's the word? I just started being very aware of it at some point, because I think for many Useless Idea albums, I kind of wrote like about like if I go back and read lyrics from like 10 or 15 years ago, of even songs that are on the record or even some songs that are not on the record, I'm like, what the fuck am I singing about? And and at the time, the guys used to say, they would look at it and they're like, I don't know if these lyrics are good enough or something like that. But now I get it about the lyrics back then.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was singing about. It was like place markers. But now I have this thing. I haven't done it for a while. I have like I kind of entered the Kris Roe zone, where I have like 30 musical ideas or 30 like I'm like, this is a great song, but it has no lyrics, or I have to work on the lyrics for it. So I think I'm in that place right now where I think it's happening because I want to push my lyrics, my songwriting another step further. You know what I mean? That's what I feel about it. I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight the writer's block or whatever it is. I'm just letting it be.
Well, you just gotta like, go with your heart and like, you know, and never limit yourself. I mean, you know, I feel like there are those bands that just land on something really incredible, and I always wish they would make another record that's kind of like that. But as a songwriter, I also realize too that when people expect you to write So Long Astoria Part 2 immediately after that, it doesn't make sense, because to me, that was a place and moment in time influenced by the surroundings of that time, and I would never try to write that. That happened naturally from the heart. Same way with Welcome the Night did, and I'm proud of every record I've done for different reasons. But, you know, you just got to keep growing, and you've definitely showed that growth in your songs for sure. Every time I'll hear something you do, I'm like, I'm proud of you, and I'm always like, that's great. You know, it's good. And, you know, we all will get to that point too. Like, I mean, look at Bowie or Springsteen where you're going to make bad records. But a lot of those guys, the good thing is, though, they might make a couple of records that don't speak to everyone, but then they come back around and make an incredible record late in their life. So, you know, I mean, I've had a lot of writer's block, and I've written a lot of songs I haven't released. I must have written like 200 some songs that people haven't heard. Not full songs. I have different fragments. But there's some full songs. But the thing is I'll sit with some of them for a while, and some of them I still love today, and I know those are the ones that aged well. And then there's some that I feel no one will ever hear, and I'm glad I waited and didn't put those out because I know I would have like never wanted to play them again, you know. But that happens to everybody. I mean, there are plenty of songs that I don't want to play, and then there are plenty of old songs I feel aged gracefully, and I love them, you know. So
yeah, I think I just like I was maybe like last year or like the year before, I was just like churning out song after song after song, just writing, not thinking. And now I think since September, we put out the song about my grandfather in the Holocaust, B273. And since that song, I'm like, I can't write anything because that's like the biggest subject I could write about. Yeah.
No, I was just going to say on that song, though, I really thought that was really courageous and cool that you talked about that, because that's something that so many people were probably moved, inspired by, but did not have that experience. They've only read about it. And that's why I remember when I recorded your album, as much as I know it might be passé to write about politics, as somebody who grew up in America and only seen about Israel and things that happen in Israel, I remember you told me some stories and things. I'm like, it'd be really cool if you wrote at least a couple songs about your situation, because it's so unique to what you're going through that I could never live that, and I would never be able to write that. Like, you told me this story, I think, and I remember how you just told it so casually. It was just like, wow, that's so surreal that almost feels like you've been desensitized to that situation. I remember you were telling me about when like bombings were going on a lot, and you told me this story about you went to your favorite restaurant, and you were like, and my waiter, one time he just blew up, and you went back to visit, and
a day later, the place blew up.
Yeah, that's crazy. You know, it's something that like I was like, man, those are experiences that like we've got to write about. I mean, you might not want to sometimes, but I mean, those are so your thing that only you have experienced. That like,
I mean, I feel like we kind of wrote about it, or I kind of wrote about it in sort of like a vague way, or like a way that it's.
That's what happened. No problem.
Yeah. It was saying that there's like a minute left, so I was just trying to talk to you like throughout that, but then it just stopped.
Yeah, no, it does that. So yeah, I found that like when it gives that warning, usually you really only have about a full minute of the 2-minute warning, and then sometimes it just pauses. So.
But hey, at least I was able to share it, to like save it on my page. Now I could
That's good. Yeah. Yeah, I just was basically saying though, but as a metaphor, like that situation you went through, but it was cool that you were able to share about your grandfather and his situation. So any of those big experiences like that, I mean, they're so unique to your story that nobody else has lived those things, that like as you get older and as a better songwriter, I think for me, I have at least realized that like those are the things that like I try to focus on more. I still write love songs when I'm inspired, I'm very in love with my wife. But, like the song I just played, I was inspired to write that. But I think you just learn to write a love song in a more creative way, not just,
exactly.
Like, look at the Beatles, their early records. It was all like, She Loves You and all that. But then later on, I mean, like those, later few albums, same deal, like so much more creative ways to tell a story.
So yeah, so that pretty much is the lead up to the next song I wanted to play for you. Did I send you my demo of Santa Monica Pier?
I don't know. I'd have to check my iTunes.
Because after B273, I spent time at Mike's, and you met me at Mike's. I told you that I was like uninspired because we were just like recording all these things and just working, and I didn't really have my little quiet spot. But I wrote a melody, and then it took me a while to figure out the lyrics. And then when Paula came to visit me, she wanted to go to Santa Monica Pier. Like my viewers know this story already, and she kind of just like took me out of that whole like work world for a few. And once we got there, it was so breathtaking and so amazing. and we just had the. I think in a way I was kind of like channeling the way you write a love song, you know, with a lot of like details and descriptions and things, and you know, not just I love you, she loves you, and you know what I mean. So
Yeah, no, thank you.
so I'd
And
love
so
to.
I don't
Yeah.
have that song. I just checked, but I think you when we were at Fat Mike's place, you told me about that and how it inspired you again, and yeah, so I'd love to hear it for sure.
Yeah. So I'll play it for you. It's called Santa Monica Pier. Yeah.
Awesome.
Life is so small when you're stuck at the top. High on the Ferris wheel, gazing from the dark Pacific Park. Big waves, look at the falcons in the sky. If it's a dream, then let's be sure not to open our eyes. Stay, you wouldn't mind, on the loneliest ride down along Santa Monica Pier. Footmarks don't stay forever in the sand. Yeah, we'll go hand in hand, two birds drifting away like a day. This is the roller coaster of our lives. Sun rays reflecting on the ocean, savoring our goodbyes. Stay, you wouldn't mind, on the loneliest ride down along Santa Monica Pier. It's a strange kind of life on the loneliest ride down along Santa Monica Pier.
Awesome.
Thank
Such
you.
a Beatle-y melody, and I love how in the chorus you do the minor key, the loneliest ride, ride. Yeah, I would never would think to go to those chords, and it's such a good signature of some of your songs. Like,
Thank you. I feel this has like it's kind of like a vibe of, you know, when they say of a song you probably heard already, but you don't know which song it is, and that's when they say, so that's a good song. So,
yeah.
because I'm
Like,
sure this is like, I don't know, not Buddy Holly, but the whole na 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 na.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a good melody in that way, where it's like a very classic kind of melody, you know.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
one of like the original like those when songwriters were like a building of people that wrote songs for a lot of the artists of the 50s. There was like one in New York called the Brill Building, and then there was like certain songwriters would write for the Motown people. It sounds to me like a kind of like a very classic style song that would be written for I think your video is breaking up a tiny bit. Is it mine? Is my video fine?
No, it's fine.
Okay, yeah, yours seemed a little pixelated for a second. Maybe, I don't know why, but all right.
Yes, you should play something.
Okay. I'll play one more song that a newer thing I've written that I'm proud of. Turn a little more gain up on my tiny little amp. So this is just a song I wrote about driving around the country in my old 2003 Dodge Neon that is no longer with me. Rest in peace. And just some of the memories I had driving around the country and some of the things I would see. And I wanted to write it in the context that it's a song about the car, but it's more like you could be, when you're listening to it, you would think it's about a person or something, but it's more about the car and the memories and not about a person at all.
Nice.
So it's the title of it is just, although it was the working title was Car Song, one word, like God Song by Bad Religion, because that was my favorite Bad Religion song. And it goes like this. Now you rest amongst the rust of these roadside monuments. In all their former glories, the driving nights that came and went. We fought on hard through rain-beaten nights, past the shadows of state lines. Now this victory dance, it belongs to you and I. Ashtrays serenade on these Indian summer nights. Past the cold, dark desert towns, under the neon-veiled starlight. We crossed the Mason-Dixon, sing where pastures gold and green. My darling, won't you come on home to me? I was born in the blizzard in 1977. South Park, the Dicebur, California. Lay me down until the night under a veil of the pale starlight. This Midwest kid's got nothing of California. The winter sky is weeping, the factories lie in their graves. Like Cold War artifacts, marching in some ghost parade. We watch these streets of fire fall and crumble into the sea. Now, darling, won't you come on home to me? I was born in the blizzard of 1977. South Park, Dicebur, California. Lay me down to the night under a veil of the best starlight. This Midwest kid's got nothing on California. Through all the tears I cried for you, all the times I tried to let you go. Lay me down to the night under the sadness of this life. Darling, take me home. Won't you take me home? Now you rest amongst the rust of these roadside monuments. In all your former sadness, the driving nights that came and went. You fought on hot and rain-beaten nights, past the shadows of state lines. Now this victory dance, it belongs to you and I. I was born in the blizzard of 1977. South Park, Dicebur, California. Lay me down to the night under the veil of the pale starlight. This Midwest kid's got nothing on California.
Yay!
And yeah, I knew you heard this song. I just set it up for the ones who didn't hear it. Because
Yeah.
It's still a work in progress, but it's.
I like
again,
it. I like it. The more I heard it, the more I liked it. I think your next record or your next batch of songs or this current batch of songs, they have a certain sound, like a different one. It doesn't sound like Song Astoria or Welcome to Night. It's kind of like straight ahead, like rock, you know, like, and I could hear your Replacements and Rolling Stones influences, but mostly the guitars actually.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's definitely like some songs on it that are in the batch that are definitely there's a big variety for sure, but I think the overall vibe of a lot of them are really just straightforward kind of like singer-songwriter replacement-y rock and roll. But
great.
But there's definitely some like I always like to make a bridge or something where I can just kind of jam and play some kind of drony guitar stuff on a bunch of pedals and have fun. But I think that stuff is there, but there's also the verses are very narrative, story-based driven songs. Because I feel the more I write, the more that I try to focus on what I love the most, and that's probably what I like the most, is trying to tell detailed stories about what I see in the world, and that's more exciting to me than writing you know, silly songs or love songs. But there's love songs. But again, like there are love songs that are told in a more detailed, kind of personal way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got to keep evolving. But yeah.
So you have another live later on, right?
I do tonight. Tonight I'm not playing as much songs as I am interviewing. I'm trying to mix it up, and tonight I have Sergey Lubkov from Sam I Am on the live stream. And tonight it's only on Instagram, the Ataris, because Facebook doesn't allow you to add people into the live stream, as you know. You know, for some reason you can't do that on there, but you can here. So yeah, you know, Facebook always has a bigger crowd. I wish that you could stream this on both with two people, but you can't. So tonight will be on Instagram, and then tomorrow on Monday again, if I broadcast, it'll be on both, and I'll play some songs. But for tonight, it's at 7 p.m. Pacific time on Instagram, and it's just me and Sergey. So
cool.
Yeah.
So I think I took up enough of your time.
Oh, my pleasure, my friend. You yeah, anytime. It was a pleasure.
But yeah, since I'm gonna be a host on your page on Tuesday, right? So
Tuesday at 7. Or no, sorry, Tuesday at same time, right? We're doing Tuesday at 11 a.m.
Tuesday at the same time. I'm gonna be on the Atari's page.
Yeah, on the Atari. Yes.
Yeah. So thanks for doing this, and it's been great. And I love that it goes by in like a flash. I don't like to feel that, oh my God, because it feels like we did like an hour and a half and it went by in like a minute. So
exactly. I feel that way too. It was definitely one of those things when you're hanging out and having fun talking, it just goes by quick. So yeah, thanks for hanging out, and thanks for having me on your live stream. I appreciate it.
Hell yeah. Thank you, Kris.
Yeah.
And I'll see you soon.
Have a good rest of your day. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. See you.
Cheers.